Aki and Seino would be quite the fearsome duo, I feel. I mean, could you imagine those two running the school? Seina as student council president and Aki as head of the disciplinary committee? I might be a little frightened to go to that school if I knew those two were running things. Hey everybody, welcome back to Kindred Spirits on the Roof. Last time we got through Sachi's extra scenes, and now we're going to start going through Aki's, and we're going to start and see what business she has with Seina. I finished eating my lunch and set out on my usual patrols. Ooh, Aki, do you have Yuri patrols too? Of course not. It's part of my duties as a member of the disciplinary committee, but really I just like getting a little exercise after lunch. Helps with digestion. It's pretty nice to walk around the outside of the grounds, by the pool or behind the gym, slowly weaving through the shade where there aren't too many people. I stopped when I noticed someone in an unpopular spot behind one of the school buildings. A first year back here? That's unusual. The first year was moving around restlessly, peeking into the shade and stretching to look over the fence. Is she looking for something? But then memories of her small frame running around energetically flashed back to me. I think she's a first year who's close to Aihara-senpai and just joined the beautification committee. Aihara-senpai supports the school, handling various miscellaneous tasks every day. I respect her, but also worry a little that she takes on more than she can handle. So when I heard there was a first year helping her out, I was both relieved and a little interested in this new helper. Looking for something. Huh? Her back went stiff when I called out to her. It's a typical reaction people have when they run into me. The disciplinary committee demon or school gate guard. Oh, Aki. Unless you're proud of those titles, then own them, girl. But that kind of sucks when those shitty nicknames get back to you. Hello, Ariu, senpai. But the first thing she did after unfreezing was bow her head and greet me properly. My name is Maki. I'm a first year. I know, you're friends with Aihara-senpai, right? Friends! She parroted, her cheeks flushing. She looked scandalized, but happy. So, are you looking for something back here? Oh, yes. Well... Do you know any quiet, unpopular places, Ariu-senpai? Unpopular places? Yes. I'm sorry for asking you something so weird. It was indeed a weird question, but I decided to show her the places that came to mind as a continuation of my patrol. It was a good opportunity to assess Maki-san's character, but more importantly, I just liked how she wasn't too timid around me. I brought up a few different conversation topics as we walked. Her impression of the school, what she thought of classes, which subject was her favorite. She still seemed nervous, but she gave me good answers. The beautification committee really does all sorts of things, doesn't it? Thanks to that, I know a whole lot about the school now, even though I just started here. When I brought up the beautification committee, she grinned and started talking happily about it. What sort of things other students asked her to do, and how she did them. She seems quite motivated. From her excited, quick tone, I thought she seemed sincere. A bit impetus, maybe, but I liked her enthusiasm. But there are also a lot of things I'm not used to and not good at yet. I want to be able to do everything really efficiently like Aihara-senpai does. Aihara-senpai, eh? I think it'll take a lot of work to get up to her level. I couldn't help muttering something discouraging when I imagined the virtuous Aihara-senpai with all the burdens she takes on to herself. But Maki-san nodded, if anything, getting even more enthusiastic. You're right. How on earth am I going to do it? She'll do anything for anyone, really quickly, without complaining at all. I think she conducts herself well. Right? She's smiling like she's the one being complimented. No, she looks even happier. She must really be enamored. But her adoration, is it really just that? She's really nice to me too, and she's always really considerate, like, are you tired? We can rest, even though she's the one who works the hardest. It's the first time I've met someone like her. She tacked that last line on after all her enthusiasm. She muttered it to herself, and my suspicions were confirmed. Her feelings for Aihara-senpai have gone long past simple adoration. I wonder how Aihara-senpai feels. Yeah, I knew Aki had a thumb in, like, this relationship. She totally knows what's been going on between these two. I mean, she would, because she actually has experience in this kind of thing herself. I wondered if she was aware of Maki-san's feelings, and if she was, what she thought of them. That won't be an easy road. I imagined some scenarios, though I knew it was rude of me. It's pretty far from the school buildings out here, but that also makes it quieter, and it's a blind spot from the windows. Huh, I didn't know there was a place like this out here, thank you! Yeah, this might work. It might be kinda human soon, though. Maki-san glanced around, inspecting each deserted spot we came to. Is she looking for somewhere quiet for romance after all? She walked around each spot, checking its view, how comfortable it was, and even taking notes. And she looked dead serious during all this. As long as she doesn't do anything that needs disciplining, I suppose. The worry ran through my head even as I smiled at the adorable sight. Those are all the places I know. They're good enough. That was really helpful. Thank you so much. Maki-san bowed her head deeply. She was wearing a really broad grin. I must have won her favor by showing her those spots. It was hard to give her a warning, but, well, I had to. The truth is the truth. I didn't show you anything particularly smart or go to any particular trouble. I just showed you around my patrol route as a disciplinary committee member. Oh, I see what you did there, Ariu. Smart. A disciplinary committee member will come by here a few times a day, so it isn't as if it's entirely deserted. Maki-san froze for a moment, then visibly deflated. Yeah, you're right. You're in the disciplinary committee, and the disciplinary committee disciplines people. I get it. These places are nice, but they must be unpopular because they're on the patrol route. I think she just said something pretty rude, but again, I find myself endeared by her disappointment. Guess it's not surprising. She was searching so earnestly, so enthusiastically, and at the very end, all her hopes were dashed. Guilt stabbed into my heart. No, there are plenty of places the disciplinary committee doesn't know about, too. It's a big campus. I doubt too many people know every single spot. Even I have some places I'm not too acquainted with. When I realized what I was saying, I was surprised at myself. What am I telling her? It's a little problematic considering my position. Really? But seeing her face brighten up was a little relieving. Well, even if you do find a place like that, don't use it for anything bad now. Oh, well, define bad, Aki, because that is a very vague and subjective term. Just saying. What a lenient warning coming from the Demon Gate guard. Just as I thought when she replied, of course, it looked less like she'd taken my warning to heart and more like she'd renewed her focus on finding her unpopular place. Well, that's fine. It's probably Maki-san's character that makes it difficult for me to scold her seriously. Either because she wears her emotions on her sleeve, or because her enthusiasm is just so genuine. She has a peculiar charisma to her. She's an interesting girl. If it's her, maybe. An image of Ihara-senpai taking on the student body's laziness as her own labor flashed through my mind. This passionate girl, with her respect and love for Ihara-senpai, maybe she'll be able to change things now that they've gotten so bad. No, maybe she can change Ihara-senpai herself. Man, I really hope we see more of Seina and Aki. I don't think we will, or I guess I don't know we will, but it'd be really cool too. Holy shit, is that really it? For those scenes? I've been in a good mood lately. When I saw my face reflected in the window, my expression was so soft I almost wanted to look away. I was in an almost conspicuously good mood, though I don't think too many people around me have noticed. Ariu-san! I ran into Koba-san in the hallway between classes. She had been glancing around somewhat suspiciously as if searching for someone, and her face had lit up when she'd seen me. She came running over eagerly. Don't run in the hallway. It says so right on that notice over there, doesn't it? Oh yeah! I leaned back and gave Koba-san a warning as she practically sprinted over to me, sending her breaking with her heels. Sorry, Ariu-san. Be careful. She was all smiles as she gave me a sharp salute. I felt my heart filling with heat even as I chastised her. She's really an amusing girl. I find myself quite interested in her. So, Ariu-san, for lunch, do you go to the cafeteria? Sometimes, I suppose. I eat there when I buy lunch at the school store. So you've never eaten cafeteria food? It's pretty good, you know. It's kind of a waste not to try it, don't you think? It hasn't been that long since the two of us became friends. So when we see each other and talk like this, we're always learning new things. It's sort of a refreshing feeling. So you're a cafeteria eater then, Koba-san? Oh yeah, I'm a regular. I've tasted the whole menu, so go ahead and ask me if you got any questions. Oh, I mean, you want to eat lunch together sometime? Oh, Yoka. Oh, that was a brilliant segue, girl. Yeah, sure. Alright. Koba-san grinned, striking a triumphant pose. Just that was enough to get her beaming. There must be something wrong with me, because I find every innocent expression of hers absolutely adorable. I didn't think our relationship would be like this. My original impression of her was that she was nothing but a serial truant. The typical sort of latecomer who's used to a lifestyle of staying up late, letting her guard down and getting ready at the last possible minute. The type who's all the more trouble since she's not doing it on purpose. But I found myself a little interested in all the new excuses she thought up each time, prefacing them with and declaring them triumphantly. It was completely different than forgiving her as a disciplinary committee member. I just found her interesting as a person. I'll give you my recommendations when we do then. Oh yeah, what kind of stuff do you like anyway, Ariu-san? Well, I tend to have bread for lunch. I buy it at a bakery in my neighborhood in the morning. Oh, I getcha. You kind of look like the Japanese food type, like you'd eat dried mackerel or something. I like Japanese food, too. Oh, yeah? I was right then. I just had a feeling, though. I first started sensing her gaze at the beginning of the school year, when I assumed the role of standing at the gate and checking the latecomers. It wasn't just at the gate in the morning, though. It was in the halls and all around campus. It was a direct gaze, intense and impatient, as if she wanted to say something to me, and painfully fervent. I think I'd grasped the fact that she held affection for me, because I knew that gaze. I had looked that way at someone before myself. At my kindergarten teacher, older sisters of my friends, classmates of mine in middle school. It wasn't clear to me what I was feeling at the time, of course. Now it is. Oh yeah, the cafeteria's got like a weird new meal now. A weird meal? It's an okonomiyaki meal. Okonomiyaki with rice and miso soup. That's so weird. Doesn't the okonomiyaki take the place of the rice? I hear that's common in Kansai. Ah, seriously? The other day when she'd been late again and said to me, "Let's be friends," I was completely taken aback. I was aware of her affection, but I was never expecting her to jump straight to "let's be friends" with no fanfare whatsoever. And she just avoided being late, breathing wildly, voice cracking, face bright red, and eyes sparkling. I had to stifle my laughter every time she'd given me a lame excuse before, but I couldn't hold it in that time. My personal interest in and affection for the student named Kobayuka had swelled up in the moment when my laughter burst out, and it's continued to swell inside my chest, almost suffocating me, even now. Is it good having a floury thing like that with rice? If you're curious, why not try it? It could be worthwhile. Maybe. If you say so, Ariu-san, maybe I'll give it a shot sometime. Actually, now that I think about it, it does sound pretty good. I made okonomi udon once, and that was tasty. What's that? Well, I was alone at home, and I was really freaking hungry, but I only had 13 yen. So I boiled some udon I found and tossed in some leftover okonomiyaki we had in the fridge. Well, I can't really imagine how that must have tasted. Maybe something like udon with tempura? Like, it looks sort of like kitsune udon, so that's what I was thinking it tastes like. But the okonomiyaki already had the sauce on it, right? So the sauce mixed with the soup and it turned into this really weird flavor. A weird, good flavor. It was super rock. Rock flavored. I can't really explain it super well, but it just like blared, you know? I don't really know what it was, but it was something, that's for sure. Like that. She explained the taste of the okonomi udon, making exaggerated gestures. The information didn't really get across at all, but I found myself smiling at her enthusiastic description of this inexplicable experience she'd had. Since becoming friends, Kopo-san interacts with me directly like this, but occasionally with a strange sense of distance. Her interest in me is completely upfront, though she seems to struggle to put her thoughts into words. It's sort of like she's just throwing herself at communication with me, but it's much more pleasant than I thought it might be in the beginning. Put positively, she's pure. Put negatively, she's an idiot. But that's what's good about her. It's charming. I find it very sweet. What? I came back to myself when I heard her panicked voice. My hand reached out on its own to touch Koba-san's ear. It had moved so impulsively I hadn't even noticed. This is pretty bad, huh? Even though I was a bit disturbed by my behavior, I still couldn't remove my hand. I was enjoying how Koba-san was flushed up to her ears and frozen stiff too much. I somehow managed to feign composure by the time I took my hand away, at least. You're a rocker, so I was wondering if your ears were pierced or anything. Oh, is Aki blushing? Oh, have we ever seen her blush before? Probably, but this is my first time noticing. I wish we had a CGI for this moment. This is like another one of those moments. I would love to see Koba's face just like all red in the ears and Aki like touching her ear. It's super sweet. That was as bad as one of her excuses for being late. Yeah, that was pretty bad, Aki, but is also pretty goddamn adorable. I thought so myself. I hoped that she didn't notice my confusion or that I'd acted on impulse. Huh? Well, stuff like that, kinda seems like it hurt, you know? She'd said it a little peevishly, embarrassed, like she knew what she was saying sounded pathetic. I couldn't help bursting out into laughter. No, you know, my rock, like, isn't something that can be expressed with, like, piercings and stuff. I had to laugh again when she frantically added fuel to the fire. It was laughter from how cute and charming I found her. No, I believe you. I get it. That sounds just like you, Koba-san. Pulling my hand back to my own cheek and trying to hide the heat rising in me. This sounds so adorable. I wish I could, like, see the actual motions and... It's kind of like the unfortunate things about visual novels, right? They are static like this, and you have to use your imagination, which isn't a bad thing, but sometimes it's nice to see the visual, you know, have it confirmed in front of you, but that's really a trivial concern. Ugh. Dude, someone draw that scene or something. That was just way too adorable. Oh, more interactions with Yuna. I'm down. Evening of the 5th day of the camp. Yoka had left school for practice with her band, and I just finished up the work that had been keeping me busy, so I had free time to spare. I remembered someone I've spoken with a lot since the summer camp started. I've been wanting to chat with her a little more. This is a good opportunity. I made my way to the cafeteria. The moment I opened the door, a delicious scent washed over me. Oh, Ariu-san. Tomi Yuna, who had solved the problem of the mountain of printouts in the math club room with incredible efficiency. I must have caught her with some free time of her own. She was leaning against a table drinking from a water bottle. She really is capable. Never mind cooking for such a large group of people as if it were nothing. She even had the bowls and pots all arranged in the most efficient way to serve the meal. I'm really thankful that you're assisting Sono-sensei every day. You're a huge help. With all the work we have, I was a bit worried we were obstructing your other duties. Huh? Oh, it's fine. I make sure to get back here with enough time to finish. She returned easily, but I can't imagine it was really as simple as she made it sound. It's really quite impressive that she can do this much, while also helping with the camp task force work, and the school festival committee work, too. I had thought I was aware of all the people who could work so responsibly, but I had no idea that someone like her was hidden here. No, rather than hidden, it's more like she's been hiding herself. You're a smart one, Aki. Nothing gets past you. I tried inviting her to join the disciplinary committee yesterday, and I'd instinctively gotten that impression from the look on her face when she turned me down, saying she had to help out at home. And I think we know from the drama CDs that Yuna does join the disciplinary committee, right? Because we at least know she's working directly with Aki in their final year. The impression that she was choosing not to affiliate herself with anyone, not to exhibit her talents. When she's proposing solutions and completing her work in the math club room, she looks full of life, like she's enjoying herself. But afterwards, she apologizes for getting ahead of herself. Why does she limit herself so? Do you mind chatting for a bit? I don't mind. beating around the bush doesn't agree with me. I asked her directly, and Yuna easily agreed. Though, from how she reacted to my invitation, I imagine she may deflect the issue again. Thanks. Wait one moment. I'll go buy some snacks. That's good, it's a good way to build repertoire with someone, good relationship with someone. Or get them to genuinely listen to what you say. I'll buy you something. I'll buy some snacks. I chose ice cream because she'd need to accept it on the spot and eat it before it melted too. Yeah, see, Aki, this is so like you to be thinking ahead of how's the best way I get this conversation to, how's the best way for me to like get this conversation to turn out the way I want to, or to put things in my favor. Well, let's see. I'll buy snacks. I'll get something like ice cream, so you have to eat it on the spot, and you have to have it. You have to accept it. Yeah, no, Aki is... She definitely thinks ahead, too. I've used this trick a few times to chat with someone without letting them get away, though I'll admit it is a little underhanded. Is it underhanded, Aki, or is it just being smart and thinking ahead and being 3 steps ahead? I totally relate to this because I feel like I strategically plan out my life like this too, my conversations with people. If I really want to get in good favor with someone. Though the idea of like getting ice cream for someone so they can't leave and they can't escape you, I've never had that issue before, but my mind would totally go down that track. Yeah, and you also were a big fan of ice cream, so an excuse to eat ice cream, can't blame you for that one. Damn, they're sold out of the soda. It's the best one here. No chocolate either. It's too bad. It's a waste of an opportunity if I don't get the best one I can. Though the coffee isn't too bad. Oh yeah, didn't Matsuri want soda during the summer camp and she couldn't get it because they were sold out in the vending machine? It's a nice little tie-in. Yuna didn't seem on guard at all when she took the ice cream or when she sat down across from me. Yuna, is the reason you haven't joined a committee because you don't want to stand out? I got right to the point. That's one possibility I've come up with since she turned down my invitation the other day. A reason a caring, skilled, motivated person might limit her involvement. It makes sense when I consider the possibility that she's been alienated in the past. She stopped nibbling on the popsicle for a moment. Was that flashed across her face nervousness? Hate? Remorse? It was a complex shade, the same thing I saw yesterday. Aki's also very observant, and I don't know if that was really apparent in the main story, because we didn't really get much from her perspective, but I'm starting to notice that in her character now, is she is very good at reading people and reading a situation and then sort of assessing what she needs to do to get what she wants. And that makes sense. I think people who are really big on managing have to be pretty detail oriented. But Aki seems really observant about people, which is kind of fascinating, because that's a hard thing. That's one of the harder things to be very detail oriented about, I think, is figuring out other people's emotions and emotional states and their dispositions. Like, that is very, very rough. It's hard to parse. Oh, Yuna's being honest. Man, do we see, I mean, at this point, but I feel like Yuna's still being pretty defensive and, like, closed off up until this point of the story. But, it warms my heart to see her kind of be honest with someone. Her answer was a simple one. She showed no signs of escaping or deflecting the question, instead giving me a straightforward and concise response. I merely nodded. I can't ask anymore. This is probably something she doesn't want anyone asking much about. I see. Let's eat. This is the third best ice cream you can get in the school store. Of course you know. Of course Aki knows the best places to get ice cream on school campus. That makes sense. I love that. From there, the conversation became more relaxed. We continued with light topics such as the snacks available in the school store and favorite ice cream flavors. Honestly, I can't say I'm completely satisfied when it comes to Yuna's abilities, but I don't think there's any reason to force her to use them. In any case, abilities are like weapons. It's all well and good when you can wield them well, but the moment you have doubts, they become much harder to handle. They may be talents given to you, but they can be difficult to carry, and it can be frightening to use them if you start seeing them as a flaw you'll want to hide them. That was a really fast read, and I was not paying attention to the punctuation. I'm sorry about that. It's something that can happen to anyone, and I'll bet that's the sort of state Yuna's in now. It's not something strangers can rudely intrude on. That's right, about the groups joining the camp tomorrow. Do you remember how many people it was? I think it was 3 groups, 7 people. She answered, as if it were completely natural, taking a notebook from her pocket at the same time to check. They'll be using the futons from the tea ceremony club, which went home today. They should already be aired out and taken back in. We've still got some clean sheets, so that should be fine. She reported to me smoothly. Oh, now I am having regrets. I wonder how quickly our disciplinary committee work could get done with Yuna on board. I might have fallen for her if I'd met her before Yoka. She's interesting in a different way than Yoka is. Yeah, no, Yuna's awesome. How can you not want to fall for Yuna? I thought, not even sure myself whether I was serious or joking. Well, I'll see you again tomorrow. Yuna said the same to me as I finished my ice cream and stood up. Well, there's hope, I said to the part of me that still regretted letting her go. She may be limiting herself, but she hasn't completely closed herself off. She's using her talents now in the cafeteria and in the task force, even if it's behind the scenes. This means she hasn't completely distanced herself from her own abilities. What she does now may help her recover, and perhaps one day she may want to be proactive again. If that happens, I'll re-invite her then. Aki and Nena should compare notes on Yuna. These two, Nena and Aki seem like the two characters who are very good at observing people and being analytical about them, and it's wonderful, and I think they should go compare notes about Yuna. Even if it wouldn't make sense for them to do it for any reason. I don't even know if they know each other, because we've never seen them interact. It's about time for my patrol. I need to check that the clubs that have left are all locked up and prepare for tomorrow's latecomer review classes. I summoned my focus and quickly switched gears to the task at hand. I also love that Aki wears a watch. I mean, it totally makes sense for a character to wear a watch, but considering we live in a world now where I feel like not a lot of people wear watches because, hey, your phone can just tell you the time. It's kind of cool to see her wear a watch, I'm not gonna lie. Oh, festival eve. So this is before the confession then. Whether it's a sunny, cloudy, or rainy day, I always enjoy the air in the morning. Up in the watchtower, I held out my sticks in front of the taiko drum. I took a deep breath, and my spine naturally straightened. It's the disciplinary committee's first duty to announce the opening of the gates in the morning with the taiko. Personally, it's something I quite enjoy. It's time. All right. I slowly raised one hand and gave the drum its first strike. Boom. We don't get a sound effect for that? That's too bad. As I listened to the solemn sound, I confirmed the gates opening beneath me. Though the sun rose long ago and the faculty are already working inside, I get the feeling this is sort of when the school really awakens. This is a pleasant job, especially lately. I struck the drum again, holding the stick tight as vibrations flowed up through it from the tip. Boom. What a good sound. The sound seemed to resound not only in the air, but deep in my stomach as well, as if trying to shake awake what slept deep within me. No, perhaps it was the opposite. It could be the rhythm inside me flowing out through the drumsticks, resonating with the world. How profound. How fun. Catching myself thinking something like that, I smiled wryly. Such poetic lines. How unlike me. Was I picking up Yoka's speech patterns? Should I be annoyed or happy about that? I looked down through the watchtower windows and noticed a few students coming in here and there. Most of the girls coming to school this early are in athletic clubs with morning practice. Although the school festival is coming up, so there could be people coming in early to prepare for it as well. Yoka will probably be another 40 minutes or so. Last night she texted me saying, "I won't be late tomorrow either." I'm sure she'll make the effort to get up. Though she'll probably still make it just under the wire, cutting it close like always. Still, it's an improvement considering where she started. Yoka has much more integrity than one might think. Feeling my grip on the drumsticks loosening, I squeezed them all the more tightly. Lately, this seems to happen when I think about Yoka. I feel myself filling up inside with something gentle and sweet. It gives me some pleasure deep down in my core that I can't put into words. Ugh! I'll keep blushing, I can't handle it. Up on stage at the school festival, Yoka will. I felt my cheeks heating up as my thoughts landed there. A surprise confession that the confessor unwittingly gave advance notice of. It's so incredibly clumsy, but that's what makes it so like Yoka. I can't wait. In fact, now I find it in my thoughts every day, so maybe that's a pretty good strategy too. What sort of voice will she use? What sort of song will she sing to tell me? Well, it is Yoka. I'm sure the lyrics will be very candid. She'll probably sing like her life depends on it. It seems like an easy thing to picture, yet I still can't imagine it. All I'm left with is an awkward feeling I can't tell is making me smile. I'm sure Yoka isn't aware of how excited I am. I doubt she noticed how much I was looking forward to it. I'm sure she'll be just as oblivious today as always. She'll come to school right at the last moment, and she'll jump right into her preparations for a show at the festival. This girl really is someone I care for. But now there's the drum noises. Did I just miss them the first time? Whatever. I suddenly awoke from my sweet reverie. It's reverie, right? Sweet reverie, and stopped my hands. How many strikes was that? As I gazed down at the drum before me and the drumsticks in my hands, I thought back to the sounds I'd subconsciously listened to. You got caught daydreaming, and now you don't remember what you've done. We've all been there. We've all been there before. I get the feeling I hit the thing 12 times. It's normally struck 10 times, which should come naturally to me from my daily repetition of the task. Love really makes one forget oneself. I'll have to be careful not to be so giddy. I cautioned myself, setting the drumsticks down and leaving the watchtower. There's nothing I could do about the buoyant feeling still inside me, however. I'm hopeless. Love's not bad at all. Okay, that's it for Aki? Oh man, that wasn't very much. Well, maybe I missed a scene that I'll have to pick up later. I can always hope. But it was nice getting to see more stuff from her perspective, because she is definitely one of my favorite characters, and I feel like we got to know very little about her, so I really enjoyed that. Alright, next time is Yoka scenes. Thanks for watching, y'all. I'll talk to you on the next one.